What's up, my friends? We've taken a look at quite a few different Game Boy Advance inspired retro handhelds on this channel. We have the RG35XX SP right here by Anbernic. This thing has a 4:3 aspect ratio screen, 3.5 inches, and it's not ideal for Game Boy Advance, but with that bezel art, they really did a good job, and this thing is a fantastic device. I actually really like this device, especially with the improved buttons. Then the Miyoo Flip came out. This thing has a kind of a scary hinge, but this hinge on the black one has been holding up with no problem. So this right here also has a 3.5-inch screen with that 4:3 aspect ratio, but they have thumbsticks on this one. Much quieter buttons. I actually like the buttons better on this one than this one. Today we're going to take a look at another device by Anbernic, the RG34XX SP, which has the same screen as we have on the RG34XX. That's the 3:2 aspect ratio screen at 3.4 inches. This right here is the Powkiddy V90. I have a V90S coming soon, so we're not going to talk too much about this one today. It's been out for quite a while, but let's just open up the new 34XX SP and check it out. Alright, so we have three different packages here to open for this video. Right here in the center we have the console itself, the RG34XX SP. On the left right here we have the Anbernic case, leather case. I'm not sure if it's real leather or not. And in this box right here, we have a few different grips from Boxin House store on AliExpress. My good friend Joe at Boxin House store, he always sends me a bunch of grips. I order one and he sends me like 4. In this one, I think there's 3. There's going to be one for the RG34XX SP. There's going to be another one for the Battlex G350. And then there's going to be a dock and a grip, or a charging dock and a grip for the Miyoo Mini V4. So we'll check those out later in the video. Real quick sneak peek at a couple of his grips I have on hand right here, just so you guys get an idea. I think you've probably seen them if you've seen some of my other videos. This is the Miyoo Flip. These grips are great. I won't spend too much time on them right now, but the RG35XX SP, pretty much the same style as the Miyoo Flip. And then here's the 35XX, the Indigo version. I pulled this one out because this is the one I keep in the grip. Once you have one of those TPU cases on it, yeah, they're not easy to get off, but this is my go-to right here. Super comfortable to play at home. Anyway, all right, let's move this stuff out of the way and let's unbox the RG34XX SP. All right, I thought it was just going to be bubble wrap, but we have a whole extra mailing package inside. I'm going to try to be careful not to cut the Anbernic box here. And there it is. And I did choose the yellow one, the Pikachu model. So let's take a look at this box. Let me zoom in. All right, so let's take a look at this box. We got the yellow model. There's 3 other colors, gray, black, and indigo. Box is pretty basic, except for that nice looking console on the front. Let's open it up. Nice and clean so far. What do we have in here? We have a user manual. We'll check this out later. Yeah, I'll check that out later. What's this? After sales service guarantee. Okay. And we have some wipes and a screen protector. In this box we have the USB-C to USB-A cable. I'm not going to bother opening that up. Let's just get into the console itself. Alright, let's check this thing out. So I really like this yellow. This is the yellow the Miyoo Flip should have came in instead of that faded smoker's yellow. So let's take a look at the device before we open it up. Starting with the bottom, I guess, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, a little lanyard hole, volume up and down. This is our game card, TF1. We have TF2 right there. This one's empty. Reset, power, L1, L2, R2, R1. This is our charging port and our OTG port, and we have HDMI out right here. A little bit of Anbernic branding on the back. Some texture right there, which is kind of nice. And let's test this hinge. Here we go. Shh. Wow, that's nice. That's pretty much the same as the RG35XX SP hinge. Just super quiet. A nice hinge. Oh, I heard a little bit of a creak there. Did you hear that? Not much though. This thing is nice. Take a look at the Miyoo Flip, or listen. So yeah, I don't know, that click is kind of satisfying to me, but overall I'd prefer this because this just feels like something that'll last a lot longer. So that's really nice. All right, let's just keep this thing open now and take a look at the inside. We have our face buttons and our D-pad. They look similar to the 35XX SP, except the D-pad is a little bit thinner. If you look here, we have a chonkier looking D-pad there. But let's take a look at the buttons. They actually sound a little quieter on the 35XX SP. Take a listen. Just barely, but they feel identical. So real quick. Well, you know what? There's a pivot on the D-pad on the 34XX SP. The 35XX SP does not have a pivot at all. So you could hit every direction at once. It doesn't really seem to be a problem with these dome switch D-pads, but I'm glad they put a pivot on that because there is a pivot on this one, which actually has much quieter buttons. I like these buttons better, I can already tell you that, because I just love these buttons. But these feel great. They're just a little louder. This D-pad, yeah, I'm happy to see there's a pivot there. It's super shallow, but it's there. And like I said, I don't think it's even necessary, but all right, I'm talking too much about things before we even get going on this thing. Let's move. All right, look at these little sticks. The sticks actually feel grippy, a lot more grippy than they do on the Miyoo Flip. Jeez, I should have just left this thing open. But yeah, these have kind of like the Vita style sticks, and they feel good to me too. A little bit less resistance on these sticks than these ones, but these are a little bit more slippy. There's still some grip on there, but these ones have a really nice rubber grip to them. That feels good actually. So, all right, face buttons feel good. D-pad has a pivot. Nice dome switches, feels good. These buttons are always kind of loud and clicky. Sticks, I actually like the way they feel. More resistance than they are on this, and more grippy. The screen, so we have our 3:2 aspect ratio versus our 4:3. So that's where people are like, why did you throw sticks on here? As opposed to putting them on this one with the 4:3 aspect ratio. But they did what they did. This thing has an extra gig of RAM, so ports are going to run better on here, I guess. Again, it would be better if it had a 4:3 aspect ratio, but this is what we have. 3:2, and it's 3.4 inches. So I'm talking so much and taking so long. Let's start this thing up. All right, here we go. And here we are. So we have our game rooms, which is the section I just recommend not even bothering with. RetroArch games. We have 5 pages of consoles and systems here. That's what we're going to be testing most, probably Game Boy Advance, but we will test something for these sticks as well. I'm not going to go into game count and all that stuff. We're just going to test a few things, see how things work, see how things look. I think first of all, first thing I'll do is test the brightness on this thing. So let's go to settings and backlight brightness. It's on level 7 right now. Okay, level 7 out of 8. All right, so we're at full brightness right now. Let's just bring it down to 1. All right, that's not bad. That's actually really good. You know what I forgot to check? I forgot to check the shoulder buttons. Well, let me go back in here. Let's bring it back to 7. And let's test those shoulder buttons. The shoulder buttons are kind of loud and clicky. Real quick, they feel exactly like they do on a 35XX SP. Let's compare them to the Flip really quick. Much quieter. Yeah, the Flip has much quieter shoulder buttons. The L2 and R2 sit up a little bit higher than they do on the Flip though. I don't know how big of a deal that is. But yeah, here we are. Overall, I'm liking this thing. I already expected those buttons to sound just like they did on the 35XX SP. I'm having a hard time talking today, guys. Let's just move into some gameplay here. Let's go into RetroArch game and let's go into Game Boy Advance and figure something out here. All right, so we don't have any Mario games in here. That's okay. Crash Bandicoot? Sure, why not? I might as well zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see this screen up close. This should be a 3x resolution Game Boy Advance. So it's actually a higher resolution screen, on this small screen than it is on this 4:3 aspect ratio with 3.5 inches. So it should look really nice, and it does. Vicarious. I'm gonna put the volume up here. I love it. They have some kind of shader going on here, and it looks really nice. I'm still not versed on shaders, so I can't tell you which one it is or even how to set them. So let's just give this a shot here. Feels good. I don't know. I noticed that I ducked a couple times by accident. I don't know what that was about. It might just be me, but is there any false inputs happening? I'm not sure. You know what? I think there's something down there, but I can't remember, so I'm not going to bother falling into the pit. But overall, it feels very similar to the RG35XX SP. Just the D-pad is a little bit skinnier. Let's see how the thumbsticks work. So yeah, you can use the thumbstick too. But it's kind of pointless to use. It feels better with the D-pad. Let's try something that utilizes the shoulder buttons. So we're going to get out of there. That's the menu button to get into RetroArch. And here we are with everything. I'm just going to press back. I'm going to press up, and I'm going to press quit. I'll try a little F-Zero, I guess. You know what? Let's try, instead of Game Boy Advance, let's try F-Zero on Super Nintendo so we can see what 4:3 looks like on this 3:2 screen. It's going to look really small. So if you guys are into 4:3 aspect ratio stuff and not really stoked on Game Boy Advance, this might not be the one for you. All right, we have a little bezel art. Did they get it right this time? Yeah, we got power and reset. Oftentimes they have it backwards where you have like power over here and reset over there, but that looks good. They even gave it that CRT kind of warped look to it. So even though it's small, honestly, I really like the way that looks. That looks pretty cool. I'll put the volume up a little bit more. I'm going to be able to play so much better when I throw that grip on this thing, especially for games that require shoulder buttons. Pretty easy to play, even with no grip at all. This tiny little handheld, using the shoulder buttons. I love clamshells. They're not the most comfortable, but I love them. So yeah, do we need to finish this whole race? I don't really think so. This is awesome. It feels good, it looks good, plays good. Let's just try something else now, guys. What are we gonna do next? All right, we're gonna test a little PSP, just because this screen is a little bit better for PSP than 4:3 aspect ratio. Ignore the screaming lady outside. That's part of the neighborhood. We're just gonna do a little Tekken here. Oh man, am I gonna have to censor something? She's angry. I don't know if I should zoom out so you can see my hands. Guys, let me know if you'd rather actually see the, you know what, I'll zoom out just a little bit. I'm figuring it's probably better to be able to see the screen, but anyway, let's get the volume up. So I guess this right here isn't, we don't have it scaled correctly. Man, it looks really good like that, but we should probably scale it correctly. So let me go into the settings, and then we're going to go into here. I have to remember how to scale it correctly. What was that? Display layout effects. There we go. Take off stretch. Okay. All right, now we're at 16:9. Nice looking little screen. All right, let's start. I'm not good at this game at all. And for those of you who play Tekken on PSP, do you use a thumbstick or do you use a D-pad? Let me know in the comments. All right. Oh, a little stuttering there, but that might have just been like, sometimes it starts like that, you know, you get a little stutter at the beginning. I don't know any moves, so, but it's working and it looks pretty good. I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of looks like it's a little soft, probably just because it's on 1X PSP. I would assume it is. We should probably check real quick anyway. Whoop. What are the settings at? Yeah, 1X PSP with 1 frame skip. So sometimes these systems, super weak systems, will be set at 2X PSP. It just doesn't make any sense. But this is basically the same performance as you're going to get from any of the other XX consoles from Anbernic, except I don't know what that extra gig of RAM is going to do in here for anything other than maybe port master, and I need to learn more about port master. So yeah, this is PSP on this 3.4-inch screen, and it looks all right. What's the size of the PSP Go screen? I'm curious to see what the difference is between this screen and the PSP Go screen. So anyway, all right, I won, but I didn't know what I was doing there. So let's get out of there. That's a little PSP on here. Let's check out some Game Boy, some Game Boy Color. All right, I'm going to try a little R-Type on Game Boy Color. This is something that I might actually use a thumbstick for, for Game Boy. So we'll see. All right, that bezel art looks pretty cool. Kind of like the way it contrasts with the yellow console too. All right, so let's start this up. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I think I'm going to try using the thumbstick. All right, so yeah, this is the kind. I wonder if they have turbo set on here. They do. All right, so the ultimate cheat. Look at this, turbo with a thumbstick on Game Boy Color for a shoot 'em up. I don't know. Let me know, guys. Do you guys prefer a thumbstick for shoot 'em ups? I do. I actually prefer them for beat 'em up sometimes too, except for when you have to like double run to or press forward to twice to run. It doesn't work as well with the thumbstick, but yeah. I've never been very good at shoot 'em ups, and I know this is not like a hardcore shoot 'em up, but we're just testing a little bit of a Game Boy Color here with the thumbstick. And it works good, it looks good. I love the chunky pixels. I'm not sure, again, what they're using for the shaders, but it does seem like they have some kind of shader going on here. Oh, I wasn't even holding it in screen. Alright, so let's try something else. You know what I'm thinking I want to do? I want to try some Dreamcast so we can try these sticks out. I want to pull out those grips and the case that I have for this, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to quit RetroArch here, and we're just going to close this. You know, real quick, let's see if we close this. Does it put it to sleep? Let's see. Let me back out of there. Now I'm going to open it back up, and it does. All right, so what's the battery at? We can't see any percentage, but there's 3 bars on it right there. I'm just going to leave it closed like this for right now. I'll spare you guys the time of tearing into these boxes. We'll just check out the products inside. All right, so first the case. It wasn't packed very well. These flaps were kind of like folded up like that inside the package, but I put the console inside, and I even put another little console inside too. So I think I can fix that over time, but snap it open right there, and you could put a little funky S in here. I have the thick end, so it would actually fit better if I hadn't modded it. But here we have the console itself, and it fits really nice. Works really well. I think this will actually work for the Miyoo Flip too. Yeah. So if you, it's kind of sacrilegious, I think, Anbernic and Miyoo, but hey, do what you got to do. So yeah, nice little case, kind of funky looking. Like I said, a little bit strange. I have a few other cases from Anbernic that are similar to this. I'll pull those out in another video. But yeah, you know what? Let me pull out that grip now. So this is how Joe from Boxin House Store on AliExpress always does it. I order one grip and he hooks it up. So right here we have the RG34XX SP, we have the Battle X G350, and the Miyoo Mini. And this should have like a little charging dock on it as well. We'll check these out at the end of the video. I'm gonna pull this one out now. All right, let's check it out. Look at that, an extra USB cable, and looks pretty nice too. So oftentimes he'll provide one of those ones with the magnetic thing like this right here, but not on this one right here. It'll probably be on the one with the Miyoo dock. So I got the yellow grip to match the yellow console. It's not a perfect match. I didn't expect it to be. These are extra buttons right here, I guess in case you lose these or they pop out. I haven't had that happen yet with any of these, but let's take a look at this before we put the console in. RG34XX SP. Let me move this out of the way. And we have felt all along the bottom and the sides, and on the top right here. So you don't have to worry about scratching anything. Probably gonna slide it in like that, and there it is. Nice and snug. Look at that. That looks sick. I wish the yellow was a perfect match, but that still looks cool. So now we can play some Sega Dreamcast or some games that require using thumbsticks and shoulder buttons at the same time. So let's go into Dreamcast. Okay, so what are we gonna try? We don't even have any Crazy Taxi on here. Surprising, I don't see much that's thumbstick worthy. Ikaruga would be something I'd use the thumbstick on, but I know you guys don't like Virtua Tennis, but I'm gonna play just a minute or two of it. I wanna feel the vibration on this thing. I don't know how this light turned off. Oh no, I lost one of my lights here. We might just have to finish this video without this light. I have no idea how it died on me. That's strange. Wow, well that's a bummer. My right light is completely burned out now. I'm not sure what's going on, but it is not working. So we're gonna finish this one with just this left light right here for this video. Sorry about that, you guys. Looks like I'm gonna be in the market for some new lights real soon. So let's just test a little Virtua Tennis. Like I said, I wanted to feel the rumble on here. Probably gonna kind of cut this video a little bit short here. Oh man, that guy's the one who always kicks my butt. All right, I hope the rumble is already set. There it is. Pretty mild. Feels good though. It definitely feels more pronounced on the Miyoo Flip and actually better on the Flip. It's almost like a little too mild on here. But the thumbsticks feel great. And this grip obviously makes it... I looked up at my phone. That's my excuse. But yeah, the grip makes it feel so much better for games where you have to use the sticks or you choose to use the sticks. I am not doing well. I'm a little distracted right now. I think I can get this one. Can save myself and actually win this match. Let's try it. Come on. Got you. Oh, darn it. Deuce. I hate deuce. Because that means we need an advantage. Oh. I thought that was out. All right, come on. Got you. All right, so there we go. A little bit of Dreamcast. Not a hard-hitting game for Dreamcast. A weak-hitting game for a lightweight game for Dreamcast. But you know what? I think we're gonna call it kind of short on this video. I'm gonna pull this thing out of the grip. We're just gonna pull these other consoles out again real quick. And actually, let me pull this out as well, because I'm not going to turn it on right now, but it's kind of interesting because even though this is the exact same screen, it kind of seems like it's smaller on this device than it does on here. But I think it's just because this thing has the bezels on it. You can't really see right now with it off. But yeah, so these two are the exact same screen. Nice high resolution, 3X, Game Boy Advance. Not sure which one is the one for you guys, but I like them all. If I had to choose one right now, it's probably going to be this one. But if it's going to be for something more than Game Boy Advance, it would probably be this one. Just that hinge is a little bit sketchy. This one right here, I just kind of wish it did have sticks. I'm one of the people that do like having sticks on it. And I like these buttons, these ones especially, but even these ones better than these ones. So for that, I'm going to leave it at that for this video. I'm going to get some new lights. And yeah, there'll be links in the description for all this. I'm going to give a link for Mech DIY and for my good friends at Ampound. So if anybody likes to shop on AliExpress, you'll have an Ampound direct link on there. And then if you guys don't like AliExpress, I'll have a link for Mech DIY. If you're shopping on Mech DIY, you could use code NICK15 and you'll get 15% off. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor, drop me a like if you don't mind, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.